shower.
What's going on, movie mills? Movie mills.
What's up,
going
guys?
On? We're tired. We just woke up. We got bedhead.
And we're sexy with our bedhead.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. All right, this is my little brother,
Hi.
Nicholas Rick Weaver.
I am the best.
No,
You can call him Nick or
I am.
Nicky.
he's not the best.
And he's going to be our guest today for our BFG Spoiler review.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nick, we're going to explain to you how this works. We're going to talk about the good things about this movie. We're going to talk about the bad things. We're going to wrap it up and give it a score out of how many, Kyle?
10.
10.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yep, we're sure. We are sure than some sure people.
It's pretty.
You know what?
sure.
Let's start with you then. All right, Nick,
With
give
me.
us. We're going to start with the positives, Nick. The guest goes first.
it
Nick,
away.
what are the positives of the big friendly giant?
Okay. Well, in the movie, I really liked how the visuals of the movie. The giants looked awesome.
All good with
and
that.
that was really cool. And the story was like kid friendly, and I liked parts of the story, and it was like kind of a heartwarming story. But that's about all my positives.
All right, Kyle, you're up.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. First off, Nick, that the visuals and the CGI in this movie I thought were very well done. I thought this was the perfect time for Spielberg to have this kind of movie with this new technology that we have. And Mark Rylance, who played the big friendly giant, I thought that he made a really great performance out of this character. I thought he was one of the more shining parts of the movie. And I'll also agree that for family-friendly film, this was pretty good in most parts of the story.
All right, well, send it over to me, I guess. Well, I agree completely with the CGI. I thought CGI looked really good. I actually, you think it's something like the Smurfs? You think it's something like Alvin and the Chipmunks? Sometimes the CGI
We don't
doesn't
think
work
about
well
those.
with the. We try not to. It doesn't work well with live action. I thought this worked really well with the girl. I thought it looked good, and they used specific style shots that when it was just a close-up on her after she's been in this gigantic CGI world where it didn't look too green screen. I thought there was a couple moments it looked pretty green screen,
Yeah.
but for the most part I thought it looked great. Giants looked fantastic. I mean, the close-ups of the giants were really, really good. And I remember seeing Warcraft and thinking the same thing about the CGI there. It looked really good. I thought this looked better. I thought Steven I think he really enjoyed making this film. And I agree with you on Mark Rylance's performance. Him and Spielberg are getting along great, and I'm really enjoying it. He's an Oscar winner because of Spielberg.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it, and I liked the little girl. I actually thought the little girl did a good
I
job.
thought the little girl was pretty
I
good.
thought she was really good, especially her banter with the giant. It's
Yeah,
it's
their chemistry,
tough,
for
even
sure.
as kids, to act against green screen and against these things that aren't really there. And she, I thought, did a fantastic job. That's about all
I
my
also
positives.
really liked the opening scene. I thought that scene was awesome, and like the scene where she first meets the giant, and the
Yeah.
giant like runs away. I thought that was super cool.
I thought when
and
Giant
I was
took
getting
her, it looked really
yeah,
neat.
and
Him hiding
him
and
running
yeah.
too was
I
I
thought
thought
it
was
looked
amazing,
really good.
and it made me super excited for the rest of the movie. But then the rest of the movie did not meet up to the expectations.
All right, let's stick to the negatives then. Nick, keep rolling on. What did you not like about the big, friendly giant?
I really thought the movie was really slow. The pacing it never felt like anything was going on. They were just talking the whole time. And I was just like, I mean, we saw it late at night and I was just starting to fall asleep at points of the movie. And so I didn't really like that. And then sometimes the giant, I couldn't really understand what he was saying. And like, I know it added to it, like his character was supposed to be like that. But for me, just got really annoying because I wanted to know like what the big friendly giant was talking about. And those are like my big negatives with it. Mainly the pacing of the movie.
Kyle?
Excuse me. Yeah, the first two acts of this movie are really nice to watch because I like the way the storytelling was going, and I like the way everything was shaping up to be. And then all of a sudden, it just takes a weird turn. This is spoilers, right? Yeah, this is spoiler. I forgot
Yeah,
if this
spoiler.
was spoiler review or not, but
We always do that.
but in the third act, it suddenly switches to them going to Britain and getting the British Army involved, and then it just. It for some reason it just got weird for me because I like living in this fantasy land and giant country as they called it and it just was taking me to another world, and then for some reason it just brings me back into a reality and having like the British government get involved all of a sudden, and they were kind of just starting to make them look like cartoons as well. Like they didn't feel like people, and I don't know. It just kind of got a little wonky to me towards the end. Like it didn't feel like a fantasy land anymore. Like I was getting sucked back into the real world, which I didn't like. I'll agree with you too. Like the pacing right when that act began to me was really starting to slow down as well because I just didn't care. And there was also moments where these new characters that got added were just like these ridiculous over the top characters to me, whereas I think that should have been more for the Giants and not for the people.
Yeah, I agree with Nick on the big part is of the pacing. I thought it got a little slow, and it started off where you're like, wow, this world is really neat. I'm liking what I'm seeing. They took their time to show you the world and his house and his cabin and or what
The
cave or whatever.
dreamland.
Yeah, the dreams
the
was
dreamland
really cool.
was my actual favorite part where
Yeah,
they went
that
to the
was really
tree
cool.
was my favorite part because I thought it looked really pretty. The little nightmare or whatever they had caught I thought looked cool. But the rest it was paced very slowly, and a lot of the jokes you could tell they were trying to hit and they just were not hitting. I was probably the only one in the entire theater that laughed a little bit, and I won't even call it a laugh. I call it like a little chuckle. But it probably sounded a little bit bigger to you guys because I was the only one doing it.
Yeah.
But there were scenes, like I agree with the Queen stuff was so out of left field for me. When she like wiped the dust away, I was like, all right, it's the Queen.
Yeah, I was like,
Is this
am I missing something?
important?
Yeah.
Like why? And then she's like, we're gonna go get the Queen's help in the military, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's
Or you could not.
interesting. And then they just dropped them off on. And now, one thing we didn't mention is none of us have read the books. None of us three read The Big Friendly Giant. So it was interesting because I was kind of excited. A Spielberg film about a story I really don't know anything about. Besides, it's a giant who kidnaps this little girl.
And is friendly.
And is friendly. And I was excited to go into this world. And it was slow. It didn't hit. I did find myself kind of like checking my watch and wanting to know when to get out of here. But it also was, I did feel the positives outweighed the negatives a little bit. I thought looking at the giant and his banter with her throughout the movie was good.
No.
I didn't really like the whole big giant picking on him thing. Like you said, there's so much into that giant country that looks so cool. Like, tell me more about that world. I wanted to know more about that giant world. Is there just those giants, the runt, and then that little group of people who sleep out in front of his house? Like, is there nothing more to this? I wanted to know more about that world, and I wish we would have gotten that as compared to this back and forth story of and plus like time didn't make sense. I thought much. Like one moment he's dropped her off at night as a day gone by, and then all of a sudden she's like, BFG, I'm gonna jump off if you don't catch me, and then he catches her, and then all of a sudden they go back, and then they come back again in like the early morning as the Queen's waking up, and did all this take place over 2 days? Did it take place over this? Like I there wasn't much motivation. The selling point of this movie is the banter between the giant and the girl. That's my big negatives.
Well,
Let's wrap this up and give it a
Okay.
score out of 10. Nick, final thoughts. Score out of 10.
what is a newbie?
So
Newbie.
I give it a 5 out of 10. Like the visuals
Good.
were really good, but I didn't really like any other part of the movie that much. I mean, I thought the girl actor, the young actress, I think she did pretty well, and then the big friendly giant was all right. But other than that, with the issue with pacing, I get a 5 out of 10.
Kyle?
Okay, I swallowed all my food now. I'll go a little higher than you. Much higher, I think. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Play it safe. I think the good things about this movie outweigh the bad things, though I think that the bad things in this movie to me were a major problem and really kind of butchered the film a little bit, though I thought Mark Rylance as the Big Friendly Giant was great. I thought the chemistry between him and the little girl was great too. Visuals are stunning, especially in the theater. And the 3D, we saw it in 3D, made it all right. Like you don't really need to see
I've
this
seen
in 3D.
bad 3D.
Yeah.
This is not bad 3D. This
But
is
it's definitely
good looking 3D.
not one of the negatives either. But to me, the goods in this movie outweighed the bads, and I think it's decent enough that it can be a 7.
Well, I was thinking about it and where I wanted to put this movie, and all it made me think was I gave The Shallows a 6.5. That's gone down. I think it's gone down to like a 5.5.
Thank you.
But after seeing this and thinking about it, so seeing this, I really think Spielberg had one fun time making this movie, and I think he made this for his grandchildren. I think that he was saying this is a movie that kids are gonna like, and I think kids are really gonna like it. I don't know if it's gonna dominate the box office in a time when Finding Dory's out, and you have such big competition for kids right now.
It is a popular book.
But I do think it is a popular book, and I do think it's gonna make money. But I think kids are gonna really enjoy it. I think kids. We went to a late showing, and there were a couple kids in there, but I don't know why the heck their parents letting them watch a movie from 10 to midnight, but.
Okay,
but I think kids are gonna really find the whole scene, you know, the scenes with the farts, all that. I think kids are gonna find very funny, and I think the kids are gonna fall in love with this giant and want that giant in their life. And unfortunately for me, when I go to these type of movies, I hope it brings out the inner kid in me, and the kid in me is like, I really enjoyed this, like Finding Dory did, but it just didn't. So I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. Well, movie meals. I'm gonna put a link in this man's page. He makes videos in our description. He makes some videos. If you like anime, go check him out. He's good at editing and he gets the job done. Makes some cool AMVs. So go check Nick's stuff out.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah. Thanks
Follow
for
us
having me.
on Twitter. That's all I'm gonna put the links for. And
Good work,
yeah,
man. Good work.
thanks for watching, guys. And as always, Mom's not in the house right now, but thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.